Shri Gurubhyo Namaha children. In our previous class, we saw what is forfeited shares. Okay, when the shareholder failed to pay the money called for by the company, the company can take back the shares. Okay, when they take back the shares, they are called as forfeiture of shares. Okay, so these forfeited shares can be reissued by the company to another person. Okay, so shares forfeited can be reissued by the company. So reissue of forfeited shares. So it can be reissued by the company and it can be reissued at any price. At any price. But the reissued price cannot be less than the amount unpaid by the forfeited shares. For example, the value of the share is 10 rupees. The shareholder has paid 4 rupees on application, and then when they called for the shares, they did not pay the he did not pay the 6 rupees. So the value of the share should not be less than 6 rupees. So it should be minimum 6 rupees. Okay, it should be minimum 6 rupees. Fine. So if the shares of rupees 10 at which 4 has already been paid on application is forfeited, then reissued as fully paid up, then the minimum of 6 rupees must be fixed as the new price. That is 10 minus 4 is equal to 6. So I have already explained to you that. So forfeited shares are normally reissued at loss, and such loss is debited to the forfeiture shares. So when it is a loss, it is debited to forfeited shares. When it is a profit, it is credited to forfeited shares. So when the forfeited shares are issued at premium, the amount of such premium will be credited to the securities premium account. And now we're going to see what is journal entries and what is the accounting treatment when the shares are reissued. Okay, after it has been forfeited. When it can be issued at par, it can be issued at premium. When it is lost, what is the accounting treatment? All that. Right. Okay. Now, see, when reissue is made at par, what is journal entry? Bank account data to equity share capital. Fine. When the reissue is made at premium, it is bank account data to equity share capital to share premium. Fine. When it is reissued and it is made at loss, when reissue is made at loss, what do you do? Bank account data, forfeited shares account data to equity share capital. So loss on reissue is debited. Fine. So when it is a profit, what do? You credit your forfeiture account. Fine. Now, if reissue price is more than the amount unpaid on forfeiture shares, it results in profit. On reissue, which is treated as capital profit, and capital profit is transferred where? To the capital reserve account. Okay, so this is the journal entry that is passed for future share account data to capital reserve. Right. Now, for example, now imagine you have 100 shares forfeited. All the 100 shares will not be reissued sometimes. Okay, the company will forfeit 200 shares because the shareholder has made a default and he has not paid the call money. So he need not reissue all the 200 shares he has forfeited, maybe 100 shares. Then how to calculate the profit and how to calculate the loss, right? Now, when only a part of the forfeited shares are reissued, not the entire, only part of the forfeited shares are reissued, the proportionate amount of profit on the shares reissued should be transferred to the capital reserve account. And the proportionate amount of the profit is computed as follows. How? The total amount forfeited divided by total number of shares forfeited into number of shares reissued. So total amount forfeited divided by number of shares forfeited into number of shares reissued. So as you do the problem, you'll get used to it. And I wanted to go through all the journals because every day I'm teaching you journals, and you have to become familiar with the journals that I'm teaching you so that it's easy for you to do the problem. Fine. So this is the journal. This is the formula that you should apply. Okay? This is the formula that you should apply for. The remaining amount in the forfeited share account is shown under the share capital as a separate head, When share capital is the note to accounts to the balance sheet. Is a note to the account to the balance sheet. It is shown in the share capital. Under share capital heading it will be shown. Alright. Now let us get into the problem. See, I taught you when shares are reissued at par, when shares are reissued at premium, and when you are having a partial reissue. Okay, this formula is applicable only when you have a partial reissue. Okay, when 200 shares are forfeited, only 100 is going to be reissued. Okay, now this is an example for that. Now let us get into the problem. So as you do the problem, you will become used to it. Fine. Now let us go into the problem. Okay. Now Anu company forfeited 200 equity shares of 10 each, issued at par, but held by Tyagu for non-payment of the final call. He paid everything, but he didn't pay the final call money, rupees 3. And these shares were reissued to whom? Lakshman at rupees 6. Show journal entries for forfeiture and reissue. So when the shares are forfeited, how many shares are forfeited? 200 shares are forfeited. And how many is reissued? All the 200 are reissued. So this is forfeited and this is reissue. Fine. Okay. But reissued at rupees 6. Now let us pass the journal entry in the books of Anu Company journal entry. So what should be your first journal? Share capital account. Share capital account data. Okay, the equity shares are always equity you add equity share capital account data. How many shares are forfeited? 200 shares. And what is the face value of the share? 10 rupees. Okay, so that comes to 2000 rupees. So equity share capital account data 2. What has he failed to pay? He's failed to pay the final call. Shares final call. So equity share final call account 2 to equity. Not right to forfeited shares you write. Forfeited shares. Or shares forfeited, both you can write. Forfeited shares account. Okay, how much is the call amount? 200 into how much? 3 rupees. So that comes to how much? 600. So what is the balance? 200 into 7. So that comes to 1400. Right? It is credited because it's a profit. Okay. Being shares forfeited. How many shares? 200 shares forfeited. Let's make it very short. Shares forfeited. Okay. Now let us go down and let us pass journal entry for reissue. So when the shares are reissued, what is coming in? Of course, money is coming in. Okay, when you forfeited, you took the shares back. Now you're reissuing, you're going to get the money back. So maybe when you're reissuing, you're not reissuing at the same amount. So there might be a loss. So forfeited shares. Forfeited shares account 2. Where are you going to transfer it to? Share capital account. Being all the shares, isn't it? 200 shares reissued at rupees 6. So 200 into 6 is how much? 1200. Actually, the value of the share is what? Into 10. 200 into 10. That comes to how much? 2000 rupees. So what is the difference? 800. How did you get 800? 200 into 4. 4 are 8. 800. Right? Now let us see what is the amount that you are going to transfer to share capital. Your capital reserve. Okay, what is the amount you're going to transfer to capital reserve? I hope it is visible. Okay, now last journal entry. Okay, forfeited shares account data You'll be familiar with the journal entry. You'll be very fast. Forfeited, you've been learning in journals in 11th standard, isn't it? Forfeited shares account data to capital. Capital reserve. So what are you going to transfer here? Gain. Okay, gain on reissue. Gain on reissue of forfeited shares transferred to capital reserve. Fine. So how much is that? Now see here, what was the thing gain when you forfeited the shares? What was the gain? See, now what was the gain? You had gained how much? How much did you gain? 1400. Right, 1400 you got. So you got 1400 when you forfeited. Right. Now when you reissued, what was the loss you got? 800. See here, you got 800 here, you got 1400 here. Fine. So 1400 minus 800, what is the difference? 600. So that is your gain. Fine. I hope you understood this problem. Now let us proceed to the next one. Okay. Now I will go on to illustration number 11. Okay, that's also a very easy problem where you have a partial reissue. So this problem is all about partial reissue. Okay, partial. See, Marutu Limited forfeited 150 shares. So 150 shares were forfeited at rupees 10. 10 is the face value. Okay. So 150 shares at rupees 10 face value for non-payment of 4 rupees on final call. He didn't pay 4 rupees, that is balance on final call. And how many shares were issued? 100 shares were issued at rupees 9. This is a complicated problem. 150 shares were forfeited. In that reissue is only 100, that too for at what rate? At 9 rupees only. Okay, now shall I get into the problem and I'll teach you the accounting treatment. Fine. So let us take the journal. First journal. Now we are going to forfeit the shares. What is journal entry for forfeiture? Equity, share, capital account data. How many shares are forfeited? 150 shares. What is the face value? 10 rupees. So rupees. That is how much? 1500. Fine. Now share where he has failed to pay what? To equity share final call. Final call. So that is how much? 150 into what is the call money? Call money is 3 rupees, right? 3 rupees. So that comes to how much? 100 and it's 3 rupees or 4 rupees? 4 rupees, sorry. 4 rupees, right? Okay, 4 rupees. Then 2 forfeited shares. Forfeited, 2 forfeited shares account. Okay. Now 1500. What is the actual final call? He has failed to pay 150 into 4. So what's the total amount? 600. So what is the balance? 6 rupees. 150 into 6, that comes to how much? 900 rupees. Okay. So you have transferred. How many shares are forfeited? 150 shares forfeited. So yeah. Now he's going to reissue. When you reissue, but the money is going to be transferred to the bank account, and you're going to deposit the bank. So what is the loss you're going to incur on reissue? So shares forfeited or forfeited shares, whatever you want to write. Forfeited account to share capital. You're going to transfer it to share capital account. Okay. Next, what will be the journal? After that, what will I write the journal entry so that it's easy for us to transfer. Okay? Now you're going to transfer the gain. Isn't it? When you transfer the gain, forfeited shares account data, capital reserve. Now see here, this is very important. Actually, what is going to be, this is your reissue. Okay, that is your forfeiture. Now when you're reissuing, you're not reissuing all the 150 shares. You're reissuing only 100 shares. So 100 into 9. But actually, what is the face value of the shares? 100 into 10. Right. So what is the difference? You get 1 rupee you get. That is your loss on reissue. So 900 rupees. Loss on reissue 100 rupees. So 1000 rupees. Fine. So the 100 shares reissue, being 100 shares reissue. Okay. Now you have to calculate the profit. Now see, when I want you to go back into the journals that we have done. Now see here, when 150 shares were forfeited, okay, what was your gain? 900 rupees. When 150 shares were forfeited, your profit was 900. If 100 shares are forfeited, what will be your profit? So 100 into 900 divided by 150. So 0 and 0 will get cancelled. 5 will go here 3 times. 5 will go here 20 times. 2 will go here 30 times. So what do you get here? It will be 600. You should get 600. Okay, so 600. See what is the loss you have got here? 100 rupees minus 100 rupees. Right? See here? You got 100 rupees loss. Right? Let's see here, you have got here 900 rupees profit. So 600 minus 100 is what? 500 rupees. That's your gain. What are you supposed to do with that 500 rupees? You're going to transfer the gain to, you're going to transfer, okay, you're going to transfer the gain to your forfeiture account and then to capital reserve for 500 and then 500. Okay? Being gain on forfeiture, reissue, okay, forfeiture, reissue or forfeiture, reissue, transferred to capital reserve. So that's it. I've completed illustration 11. See you in the next class with another problem. Thank you, children.